What's up, my crypto legends? The Bitcoin halving is just 2 days away. No doubt that this is going to be a historical event and it's going to be very bullish for the long term. However, we are interested in looking at the charts, looking at the lower time frames to analyze what would be a sign of strength for the price to continue to the upside and also a sign of weakness to see much lower levels. That is what we're going to take a look at today, and also with some very important news. So make sure to stay tuned till the very end. Now let's start with the chart. Very simple analysis, as you can see, very clean so you can understand. Before we continue, I want to let you know where I trade. I trade on Bybit. For me, Bybit is the #1 crypto trading platform. Of course, you do have other alternatives such as 𝗬cie with no KYC. Just with an email and a password, you can start trading there. You get the exclusive bonus with the 2 links down below. If you can trade on Bybit, then use Bybit. And if not, you can use 𝗬cie with no KYC, guys. You have only those exclusive bonuses with the link down below. Let's dive in here through the chart, guys. Let's keep it extremely simple here in just a few minutes. Now, the bearish case scenario here for the price of Bitcoin on the lower time frames is that we are still inside of this ABC corrective move. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that this price action that we are having during the last 5 to 6 weeks is very corrective, and we have extreme high probability that all-time highs are going to be hit in the next coming days or coming weeks, right? Depending on if we are going to go to lower levels in the coming days. So I want to let you understand, okay, that the higher time frame is very bullish uptrend. This for me, no doubt, is part of a corrective structure. Let me just give you a quick example here from the lows that were created on most of the exchanges on the 11th of September of 2023. When we take a look at Fibonacci time, everything moves with Fibonacci, guys, okay? We've got Fibonacci retracement, expansion, timing, and it's very important to use on the chart. When we take a look at the lows here on most of exchanges in September of 2023 to the peak high, and the main reason why this was the peak high is because this was a failed breakout in an ABC flat. Once we crossed here the 0.618 Fibonacci, we started entering here the massive uptrend, right? Crossing the 1-to-1. Very nicely with that uptrend. Now, in between 1618, okay, the 0618 and 1-to-1 is where you want to see the market start to bottom out and get into a recovery. No doubt that we can clearly see that that low here from this impulsive move during the last few months starting in January did start right over here. So let's get the Fibonacci time over here and just click right there on that low from January to the highs. And what we can see is that we're just about crossing the 0.618 Fibonacci. Now, in between this 0.618 and the 1-to-1 is where the price should be finding a bottom formation. Now, when we do see this, it's no doubt a corrective structure. There is nothing impulsive about this. And this retracement went all the way up above the 0.88 Fibonacci from this pivot high to the pivot low. And this is giving us a high probability that those highs are just going to be taken potentially in the next coming days or weeks. So as we do understand this, we understand that this is a corrective structure. Now, of course, the hardest question right now, is this the end of the corrective move? Is this the end of this ABC? On Bybit, we did claim those lows here from the 20th of March. So is this the end right there in a kind of a regular flat ABC corrective move? A regular one would have the C wave going to much lower levels. Well, of course, this is where it gets a little bit complex. This might be the low. When we take a look at the volume profile, we understand that this is a strong level of support. The price of Bitcoin does not want to drop down successfully from this level, as if it does with high volume, we could be coming all the way down to the $51,800 range. That is where the price is very, very likely going to get a reaction based on the consolidation that we had in February. Now, funny enough, the 1.618 extension, which is very important for a corrective move or an impulsive move in a third wave, getting the pivot high to this pivot low to the next pivot high right there, is exactly where we have that high volume node. So this is a level that we need to take into consideration for a quick scalp long or a day trade long. You know, the reaction on that level and the bounce is very, very likely going to happen. Now, on the other case scenario is, hey, maybe this has been the low already. if we do break down with high volume, I do not want to trade here. I do not want to get into a long, try and catch the falling knife, or jump into a short, because I am very aware of the price just dipping beneath here, this low right there. And if this were to be the case, that we actually dropping here, and on most of the exchanges we are getting beneath that 20, that low from the 20th of March. I am very much aware that this could happen, right? You're creating another wick to the downside, a swing failure pattern. And if this were to be the case, guys, this is very likely going to be the end of that ABC. And then the price is going to start moving to the upside here very strongly after this event, right? After this drop and this fake out to the downside. So this is what we need to pay attention in the coming days. We drop down from this low and recover. It is game on. It is game on for this retracement to speculate that this is probably going to get very impulsive, because that movement down has been a failed breakout. And you want to long the lows and short the highs, right? You want to take advantage of these movements, but we need to see the price failing to break down. If we move down, like I said, I'm not interested in those long positions. Now, what would be a sign of strength? Okay, there is the possibility that this has finished. When we do take a look at Elliott wave theory, okay, this has been an A wave, a B wave. Has this been right there already the finish of the C wave? All right, we've formed 5 waves down, or are we still inside of the 4th wave? Right, let me just get this here so you don't get confused. The 4th wave has been right over here. I did manage to get into that short position at the $66,000 range. Are we still in the 5th wave? We're going to get that leg down, and then we're going to get, okay, that swing failure pattern, right? Then we're going to start forming an inverted head and shoulder. We're just going to have to look at the price action to see how it develops. Or have we already finished that C wave? Has this been the end already of the C wave, okay, from this ABC right over here? Has this been the end and we're forming the first wave up? It is very, very complex, as we do have several counts here. Are we going to get into the 3rd wave now, exploding to the upside? As we do have a lot of liquidity as well. There's a bunch of liquidity that is sitting here at all-time highs, right? Billions of dollars. Could we see this scenario, or are we going to get one more leg down? Well, like I said, we just need to remain patient. If we do get that leg down, I've explained the scenarios that we're looking for a swing long position. And if you did not get into a long position down here, speculating on a 2nd wave hitting that 618 Fibonacci and naked point of control that was mentioned on a live stream a few days ago, we're looking at that long setup here, right over here at the $62,000 range. Well, if we do get the price action very explosive, and we do manage to get above this high volume node on, basically the point of control from the last 4 or 5 weeks, that will be extremely bullish. There's no doubt that for me, this corrective structure would end, and this would be the end of the C wave from this ABC. And that will be looking very, very bullish. And I would be looking for the retracements to get into a long position. This is the strongest level of resistance, and it would invalidate that this is impulsive to the downside, and it's already finished, as you're overlapping already kind of the first wave to the downside. So that would be a sign of strength. A big explosive breakout, not only above $67,000, I would want to see it above $68,000. Then you're overlapping this first wave, and then you know that this is extremely bullish, and that retracement has a very high probability in forming a higher low. Let's take a look at some news happening worldwide. Russia, crypto, legal tender. Bank of Russia has announced it will support accelerating the adoption of cryptocurrencies payments for international settlement. Now, we probably know why this is happening, but overall, Russia very bullish in crypto. 30 fund managers have declared ownership of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. So we have some fund managers obviously buying that ETF from BlackRock. Okay, very bullish, no doubt, for the long term. Tether Treasury minted $1 billion Tether again in 2 hours. This is news that we do have from the last 24 hours. That has usually been quite bullish. Every time we've seen Tether print, 1-2 billion, we've had a really nice bullish effect on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. While you are scared, someone just bought 496 million worth of Bitcoin from Coinbase. Now, no doubt that, like I said, with the analysis, this does look like we could be dropping below $60,000, but DCAing into Bitcoin for the long term is obviously what we want to do. A lot of people are fearful that they're going to miss out, and this is big money, $500 million, right? Just bought on Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin during the last 24 hours. Bybit research, with only 2 million BTC left on the exchanges, inflow of 500 million to Bitcoin spot ETF, the equivalent of around 7,142 Bitcoin, will leave exchange reserves daily, suggesting that it will only take 9 months to consume all of the remaining reserves. I mean, no doubt that the Bitcoin on exchanges is just getting dried up. We are getting the Bitcoin halving. There is no more OTC, over the counter, right? It's just like me holding thousands of Bitcoin and just selling them to you. And that is outside of the open market, so it won't affect the price. There's no people that want to sell OTC anymore. It's just very, very bullish for the long term, guys. What we're expecting here for the price of Bitcoin is absolutely crazy. Also, we can see that IBIT, which is the ETF from BlackRock, on schedule to pass GBTC, all right, selling pressure in assets by end of the month. No doubt that the selling pressure from GBTC is going to come to an end, and no doubt that the holdings of BlackRock are going to absolutely surpass GBTC holdings. That is, estimated to be by the end of the month. So overall, the higher time frame, everything looks very, very bullish. Thank you very much for joining this episode. Check out my Bybit tutorial to learn how to trade on that platform and get the exclusive bonuses with the link in the description. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.